Hello, people of the world. I would like to thank you for gathering here today to hear me speak on a very pressing matter. What I have today to show you is not something that just concerns me, or just concerns a certain group of people. But what I am bringing up to you today concerns everyone on Earth. No matter what country, no matter what group, no matter anything. This affects you, and it affects you greatly. So, what could I possibly have to bring up that would be that alarming, that would affect that many people? Well, to that I say, Arthur. Arthur Reed, to be more exact. And I know, what could this dweeb have to show us about anything? Well, it's not about him. It's about something greater. It's about the dark truth behind Arthur. What is this great, dark, evil truth behind Arthur? I mean, look at him. Do you think he's really all that much of a threat? Well, to truly understand this, I think you have to start at the beginning of my journey. You see, it all started when one day I came home from school. I took out my copy of Arthur, Believe in Yourself. More than 7 hours of fun. And I took out the DVD, I put it in the DVD player, and I just started watching. And everything was bliss. You know, I couldn't have a care in the world. I was drinking a cold one. Everything was great. But unfortunately, this illusion of paradise, it didn't last all too long. You see, in the show Arthur, he has a dog. His name's Pal. Look at him. He's a cool guy. Of course, pet dog. You know, pet. But he's not the only dog in Arthur. Far from it, really. But the most notable other one, Binky. Binky, as you can tell, is a dog. You can see so with how his ears are, his general nose, face shape. Some sort of bulldog, I would presume. A little bit more yellow, and from this photo, a whole lot cooler than most of them. And, well, you know, dogs, they're common. I mean, it's pretty common for there to be humanoid dogs in media. That's not that weird of a thing. But it's not just dogs. This, Larry, I believe. DW takes him home in one of the episodes. He's her class pet. Again, pet. You know, he's a cute guy. A little rabbit. And then, guess what? Arthur's best friend, also a rabbit. Interesting. Nemo. What's her name? One of Arthur's friends' cats. You know, he's a cool guy. Yeah, he gets in some fights with Pal, but for the most part, he's fine. Just one of his friend's pet cats. And Sue Ellen, another one of Arthur's friends. Also, a cat. So, how could this be? Is Arthur evil? I mean, this is horrible. Is this slavery? I mean, that would be terrible. But, you know, let's not jump to conclusions, okay? Let's hear this out. Let's fully see all sides. And that brings me to my first theory. The evolution theory. So, this idea is that there used to be a dog, like we have it now. You can see this guy. It just looks like an average family dog, and from there, over the course of time, from however far in the future Arthur takes place, or assuming this is an alternate reality, you know, in this reality, there used to be the normal dogs, but then eventually they go down and they split off into two groups. The humanoid ones, far smarter, closer to humans, and the animalistic ones, the ones that are still pets, you know, don't have as developed of brains. Say the same thing for all sorts of other animals. Cats, you know, normal house cat goes into this Still, basically normal house cat, just a bit different. But then there's also the smarter one, basically a human. You know, going under this theory, then maybe Arthur isn't evil and holding members of his friend's species captive as his pets. Maybe he's just more like us. You know, my cat's sitting over there on a chair, and I don't see myself as evil. Well, if this theory is true, then why is this a thing that happens quite often?
They don't really, but it would make Alberto happy. And there is a prize. It might be ham.
Indeed. And it's not just this clip.
They don't really.
Pardon? Okay. This happens quite often. They talk. What? Based on that previous theory, these were just similar to what we have. They don't have the brains to speak. Even something like a parrot, even though they have the vocal cords and the ability to speak, they don't have the cognitive capabilities to create language. But they understand language. They speak to each other, and they make coherent sentences. They don't just mimic. And it's not just Pal. Pal isn't just special. He's not just a talking dog. He's not like Martha Speaks. He's not like Clifford doesn't talk. He's not like any of the dozens of other talking animals in television and in movies. But because Amigo, just as you saw in that other clip, he speaks. What? And it's not that they're just speaking to each other, because they speak to Arthur's little sister, Kate. They speak to her all the time, just like they did in the other one. But, you know, she is a baby. Babies, they're not fully there. I mean, again, this whole thing could just be in her imagination. There's nothing saying this is real, except for the fact that they talk to each other all the time, outside of just talking to her. So this basically proves that the evolution theory is wrong. That's not what is happening here. So what is, if these are not just evolved animals of what we know now, and again, it's not just dogs. Nemo talks all the time. Larry doesn't, as far as we know at least. So if these are not just different versions of what we have, what are they? Well, I think we can find answers to this in Season 7, Episode 1, Part 2. The Great Sock Mystery. Written by Peter R. Hirsch and storyboard by Stephanie Gignac. In this episode, DW Sock goes missing. She blames it on Pal, which he vehemently denies. He says it was not him. In fact, he thinks it was Nemo, the cat who is not on great terms with Pal. They go to Nemo, him and Amigo, and Kate, I believe. They go to Nemo and they ask him if he did it, because they found a little thing of fur. And he points them to the Great Sock Exchange. A underground sock market, if you will. Take socks. Give them, trade them, sell them. There's price fluctuations, they go up and down. Again, they have a whole economy here that just no one knows about outside of the dogs and cats and rabbits, apparently. So I bet Larry could talk, he just didn't. But who's running this? Again, this doesn't imply any greater conspiracy past, oh, they trade socks, I don't know, they must have some sort of use for them. They just trade them because they want them. Except for the existence of the fur masons. Resembling the real-life Freemasons, this seems to be a sort of secret society, and, well, one of their things that they pursue is the stock market. The only one that we see explicitly in the episode is this guy. We saw him earlier here, but he seems to be one of the higher ups. There you can see some of the economic lines in it. In the stock market, that is. So, who are these Freemasons? I mean, again, they are meant to be a version of the Freemasons. So, what if, instead of this being what has happened, instead of just this evolution, we still have an evolution. They still evolved from what we have now to that and that. Or, again, doesn't have to be what we have now. Could just be another version of that, and then eventually one of them stayed the same, other one turned. Just depends. Doesn't matter too much. And instead, it looks more like this. At the top, we have a certain subsect of animals. Here I have dogs, since that's what it was showing earlier. But again, this is animal-wide, presumably. Because we see various different types in that show. It doesn't seem to just be dogs or just be cats. So, what if long ago, the Freemasons were still around? They formed, again, this could be thousands of years ago, far before any written text from that time still exists, so there's no way to actually prove this either way. But they pulled a couple strings and got one side. They noticed a trend that some people were becoming smarter than others, and they wanted to capitalize on this. So they took a subsect of them, and eventually over time they just guided them into becoming less intelligent, at least less visibly. They hid the fact that they could talk and rarely did so. And then some of them went there. They thought they had them under their thumb. They thought they were just a pet. But in reality, they have been fully sentient. Just as, if not smarter than, the humanoid ones. What if I tell you that these are not the world elites, but in fact, these are? That these are not the men who rule the world, but in fact, it is them. Ones we thought we always had control over. And we never suspected a thing. What? I didn't put this on here. Oh no. They found me.